Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dungeons and Drams, where some of your favorite whiskey tubers play Dungeons and Dragons. Tonight, we have a pretty cool episode. We're going to do something a little bit different, but I do want to just start off and have everybody kind of introduce their characters real quick, talk about who you are, what level you are, anything about you, and then we'll kind of talk a little bit about whiskey, too, and then we'll get into our game. So, Adriana, why don't you start us off?
All right, I'm Adriana of Whiskey Mountains. I am a Druid Ranger, stout halfling by the name of TaLin Creek, and my best feature is my huge mastiff that's bigger than me, named Booker.
Also Druid.
Clifton?
Yes. Or did you say that? Or
Yeah,
did
I said Druid Ranger.
Okay, you stuck it right in there. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're all over the place. I love it.
Ranger.
You're a Dranger, yes. And Clifton.
Hello, my name is Clifton. My channel is Bourbon Bites, but tonight I am playing Knobolas, a half-elf warlock, level 10. And I guess since we're naming our best feature, I mean, who could ignore Knobolas's best features? Should I say his omnipotent? No, what's that? Overpowered nipples. That's it.
I like her omnipotent.
Yes.
Omnipresent nipples, just constantly
So,
everywhere.
if you want a little bit more context, you'll find out in probably about 20 minutes. So,
Oh yeah, lots of nipple action in the next 20 minutes. So stick around.
please. Jason.
I'm Jason Steve from the Master and Drum. I play Mr. Alessio Morte, who is a Eladrin rogue, also an arcane trickster. He's got quite a few tricks up his sleeves, but he likes to drink dark beer, dark whiskey. He likes dark walks along the beach. He wears dark clothes and generally likes things dark. He's a dark fella with a big heart. He's kind of like the Grinch. So there you go.
It's exactly what I think of
He's a
when I
jelly
think
dark
of Alessio. And Ed.
Man. And I am Ed, and I play Agnomeio Banderas, a.k.a. Noro. And I'm a fighter who is learning that murder is a sometimes activity.
There you go. That's good. You're making progress.
I know, right? I'm growing as a gnome, as a person.
Yeah, we'll see what happens tonight with these air elementals.
Well, okay, this is time for murder. Like this is that time.
Let's be real. How much can you really grow? Let's be real.
Ah.
That's a short joke.
That was actually pretty good.
And I actually have something cool going on. Some of you may know, I am the distiller. Well, the head distiller, except I'm the only distiller, at a little distillery in Lake Mills here in Wisconsin called Salty Dog. And I sent out some samples of this right here to my friends who are currently on stream. And this is actually the very first, well, we've released bourbons before, but they've all been sourced single barrel bourbons. This is the first bourbon where I've actually got my handprints on it. So this is the premiere, the very first, real bourbon, I would say, to come out of our distillery. And, well, I'll let you guys nose it first, or if you've already been nosing.
First of all, a round of applause for you.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Nice
that's
job.
pretty cool.
So excited.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
We're all very proud of you, Ed. It's awesome.
Oh, thank you. But so it's actually a blend. It's a blend of a couple different bourbons. So it's a blend of a 4-year from a unnamed distillery in Washington, D.C., another 4-year from 45th Parallel here in Wisconsin, and then a 2-year-old from us that we actually made. So it's the first one to actually contain our distillate, which I was pretty excited about. And the thing is, actually, what's kind of fun about that is originally it started off as just a blend of the two older bourbons. And they didn't play nicely together. The nose was super, super muted until I threw in some of our stuff, and it made it just blossom. It was really cool. I thought it was really neat.
That's
It made them work together. So I hope you enjoy it.
All right, so Ed, say again. So this is some of your own 2-year distillate.
Yep.
Is this all?
And the 2-year was actually done in a 15-gallon barrel. So
Okay.
that does make things
Tiny.
a little different.
Yeah.
And this is all your corn, rye, malted barley. Is there any other weird or like different types of grains in it?
So with the mash bill, It's 62 corn, 20. What is it? 22 rye, 14 barley. So pretty high rye and relatively high malt.
Yeah.
And then the weird thing is, well, the two from Wisconsin, ours and 45th Parallel, were both made to that mash bill. But I have no clue what the DC mash bill is. So we changed ownership back in March, and we had these Washington, DC barrels sitting around that were bought by the old owner. They didn't leave any notes about what was in them. So
Cool.
They're definitely bourbon, right?
It's bourbon. We know it's bourbon.
Okay.
We know it's bourbon.
Yeah.
I do love that.
But
They're like,
actually, the DC barrels were put in at 100 proof. That was the barrel entry proof, which was it actually was perfect because it gives you a lot of flavor. Even you don't have to proof it down very far. It's got a ton of flavor without, you can put it in a blend and you don't have to proof it down too much, water it down and lose all that flavor, which is pretty nice.
Well, the malt is definitely sticking out, as well as the rye. Actually, I appreciate both on the nose. It's funny when you were saying the rye. I didn't say anything out loud yet, but I was like, please don't say it's like 10%, because I'm just going to question everything that I'm smelling here. And then when you said 24, I'm like, vindicated, awesome. So
I agree with Bill. The malt was kind of the first thing that stood out. It almost has this very, very, very slight innate, like milk chocolatey note from the malt, I think.
Right?
Yeah, a little. Yeah. Like, it's there. It's faint, but it's there.
And that's what people have been saying. They've been saying they get like a kind of chocolatey, malty thing.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
I'm getting a very different note that I don't think I've ever gotten on a whiskey before. So I might be crazy, but I'm getting like a bit of like a muscadine grape note to it. Like it has a little bit of that tartness that I get on that, which I mean, it's actually really complimentary to like the obvious like malt note that everyone else is noting. But
it's like
really
Knobolas' sweating nipples.
In grapes.
Listen, I grew up in South Carolina. We had a muscadine winery and a bourbon distillery on the same property. So like maybe I'm just confusing those two together.
Is muscadine? Is that what Moscato is made out of? Is that where that? Because I don't know.
Muscadine wine usually a lot sweet. It's very, very sweet. It's a dessert wine.
Okay. Well, so is Moscato.
It's grown a lot in the East Coast. So yeah, Southeast.
Hey man, if it takes you, anytime a whiskey can take you back to something like that, that's pretty cool.
Oh, neat.
For sure.
Yeah, I get like this very like sweet chocolatey type of nose. It's kind of nice. I mean, you could smell that it's young a little bit.
Oh yeah,
but sure. I mean, as far as
we're not trying to market it as though this is super aged whiskey, and I think that's kind of the cool thing is that this is proof of concept a little bit. It can only get better from here as we get older stock. And
I can tell you what though, I've smelled bourbons that are just as young and smelled a lot worse than this.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
agreed.
I know. I like that you guys
small barrels. The small barrels probably helped out there too.
Yeah. And I like that you bothered to put the higher rye and barley, because it's like you get a young bourbon just trying to cash in, and they barely put anything else into it, and it always tastes like garbage when it's
I think the high rye and the high malt definitely helps a more youthful product. This is why most Kentucky bourbons, which have super high corn in it, usually those things have to get up to at least 6 years before they start really tasting pretty good. I mean, some stuff out there is pretty decent at 4 years, but this is really nice on the note, and you could tell, like you said, proof of concept, and that there is some really nice. Like, I could see this down the line really blooming into something nice, because there's also no bitter off notes. I'm not getting any of that acidity or that bitterness that you get with some of the youthful bourbons that are out there. So it already has a kind of a nice rounded type of flavor spectrum from front to back so far.
Oh, okay.
What's the proof on this again?
90.
Good. Nice.
Wow, it like punches. Sorry,
yeah,
I
was gonna say
I'm dying.
Adriana's pretending she hasn't had a couple drinks already, but
I've already been sipping.
All right, cheers, everybody.
What you want.
All right, I'm gonna cheers to the microphone so those at home can enjoy.
I was asking about the proof because I feel like it already punches with flavor. So like to Jason's note about like how it's going to develop over time, like it doesn't have any like sharp edges that are sticking out and need to really be removed kind of deal.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But like at 90 proof, it is punching with flavor. I'm like, that is,
this is like
badass.
a light, it's like a light, spicy Mexican chocolate with like some oak in it. That's what I get.
Yeah,
I definitely get the
and
chocolate.
I think I do get a little bit of like that fruity note that Clifton might be picking up.
Funny enough, I'm getting the chocolate as you pointed out on the palate. I think it's like it has a really nice, like pretty heavy mouthfeel for 90 proof. I mean, I would guess I think it drinks higher proof, which in my book is always a good thing. So I always appreciate that, getting a little extra kick out of it.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Second sip, the maltiness is coming more and more to the forefront here a little bit. But I think the rye spice is right where it needs to be. It's right at kind of the back end of the palate, and it kind of lingers. This is 90 proof. You could tell me that this was 100, and I'd believe you.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Easily, yeah.
Well, the wild thing was, so this was kind of a trial and error. So it ended up being a blend of 4 different barrels, 2 of the DC, 1 of ours, and then the 45th parallel. But the second DC barrel, I only put in just a little bit right at the end, because when I first proofed it down to 45, it was just, it suddenly got really muted. Like I took it down there and it suddenly got really muted. So I added in a little bit of that other DC barrel and then proofed it down again just to get it right. And it ended up like this. It was kind of this weird, just kind of, one night, actually, I got a little drunk one night, and that's why how it happened. I was at the distillery alone. It was like 9 o'clock at night. I was just like, whatever, put it in.
Yeah.
That's the best kind of research.
Total hazard of the job.
Every master blender, master distiller probably does that. They don't admit it, but they definitely like do a little bit of that.
I'm working late tonight. Yeah.
It's so hard.
Yeah, the rye, I'm starting to get the rye grain a little bit too. Like there's a breadiness character that's coming through, and it's not so much as it's almost like a rye bread, like a rye toast type thing I'm getting a little bit, but carries that spice. Dude, this is good, man. I can't wait to taste this in next I just want to keep me on the sample list for the next few years.
Yeah, right. I'm definitely
no doubt.
shocked.
No doubt.
I'm shocked that this is only 2 years old. I probably would have put this at like
seriously.
4, but that's probably from the smaller barrel.
Yeah.
For me, I know that
Say,
like.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, Clifton. I know you were saying that you kind of started to taste the chocolate a little bit more. For me, the barley isn't as pronounced in the taste as it is in the nose, but the rye is. However, you did the rye really well, where I enjoy rye, but sometimes rye can be like way too green for me, especially with a younger one, and you balance that really well. I was a little concerned too when I was happy about smelling the rye, but I also was like 24% rye this young. I'm a little worried. So you balanced it very well.
I mean, typically rye does better young than bourbon does. So
I would say so.
it's actually a smart move to do higher rye.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think sorry, go ahead, Cliff.
Oh, I was just gonna close. Final thoughts from me is like, I think, it's always a little bit worrisome when you're like, oh, you're with the person that made the whiskey, like, is it any good? Like, you gotta like, BS a little bit, but like this is legit. Like I would have guessed it's older than it is, like kind of like Bill said, and I can see some really great. I mean, if this is the first like premier bourbon you guys have done, I can't wait to see what's next. So well done.
Well,
well
thank
done.
you. Yeah, and I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to say like the 2-year-old in this. The 2-year-old in this is a pretty small portion. It's like 54% for the 4-year, another 40% the 4-year, and then that last bit is the 2-year. It's there as a binder. It's not as the star of the show. Our stuff is not ready to be the star of the show yet.
Yeah. No, I mean that's I'm glad when distillers can admit that.
Yeah. Well, I for one am happy that you sent over basically half a bottle of this stuff.
No kidding.
When I opened the box,
Not
I'm
back
like,
in
The
our
size
app.
of my head.
Well, I wanted to make sure you guys had enough that you could.
Oh, don't worry. I'm gonna have
Oh,
enough.
Nick's gonna get to try plenty.
have enough. I'm glad you got enough so the air elementals screw up from Bill.
Well,
Right.
I would say that you should all remember that air elementals blow air, and you guys are on the top deck of a ship. So
I'm still hidden.
I hope you can clutch your balls.
Sober.
Ed, one final question before I guess we get into the game. So this is released publicly now, right?
Yes. So
Okay.
right now we only have distribution in Wisconsin, unfortunately. But yeah, it's actually shipping out to the distributor tomorrow. Right now it's at the distillery, and soon it will be in stores throughout Wisconsin.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Well, I was just asking if you
that's
have
so
any
badass.
photos of the bottle. I'm doing a stream this week to get caught up on my media samples, and I have an extra slot available. So if you'd like me to review this whiskey, I'm happy to. Just need some details and stuff if you'd like to send over.
I
I'd
can
love to feature
definitely
it
do
this
that.
week.
Very
For
nice.
sure.
Hey, one last question for me: what's kind of like the outright plan for this? Is this kind of is this going to be a regularly available small batch as it ages up, or is it scheduled like as your stuff ages up, the other stuff that you're using to blend it will kind of phase out?
That's more the second one's more so the idea. I mean, I don't want to say, things could change and we could just decide, hey, we're gonna always keep blending to some extent. But I would like our stuff to take a more prominent role and eventually do our own, just all our barrels in the blend. But I think we're probably going to be doing, for the next, 3 years minimum, various amounts of sourcing and probably finishing, the blends in various barrels. So I know one of the things I do want to get in on is, I've been seeing a lot of people who are, rather than finishing in, Calvados or brandy or whatever, they're finishing it in other bourbon barrels, which I think is a very clever idea because, that kind of gives you a very subtle change. It doesn't make this big flavor change, but it certainly has that cool impact where that used barrel can give it a whole new flavor. So I would like to do some of that pretty soon.
That'd be cool.
That's awesome, man. Well,
Yeah.
congrats. It's on
Congrats. This is really
it's on a delicious
I'm pouring
path.
some more. So
Well, and you would tell me if it was bad. You gotta be honest with me.
honestly we
Oh, no,
I
would definitely tell you that it's shit.
I would tell you later, but I have no intention of telling you later. Like it's
So
really good.
I was going to say, check your
Yeah.
DMs after the stream.
You're
Just kidding. No.
Ew, ew,
It's
ew,
great.
ew, ew. No, honestly, it's super
to be
good.
honest, the initial sniff, I'm like, it smells a little young, and then
No, it
and
is a
as
little
you-
young.
as you
It's
really-
a little young.
as you really get into it, it kind of dives in with that again, that like chocolatey note comes out, and I love the spice on the palate. It's good, man. Just let it keep going, let it keep cooking.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So how many bottles do you get out of that 15 gallon barrel?
Well, so this one it was like a 60-gallon blend, so I didn't actually kill.
Oh, I see.
Well, I killed one barrel. I didn't kill the other ones. So that was about 230.
Okay.
About. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, guys, thank you very much, Ed. I actually just poured a second glass. So,
Cool.
excuse me. Actually, Clifton, real quick, do you want to say something to our patrons?
Of course. Well, thank you
thank
to all of our current patrons. If you guys are curious, we do have a Patreon, patreon.com/Dungeons and Drams, where you can get access to some behind the scenes maps and exploratory stuff that we don't get access to. So if you guys are curious about that, Bill probably has more details than I do, but I do want to give a few
Don't
shout
we
outs
all?
to our patrons. We'll see what happens tonight. But big shout out to Mike, Steve, EJ, James Taylor, David, Martin, and Paul. Thank you all so much for your support. If anyone's interested, like I said, feel free to shoot us a message, join our Discord server, find out what patrons are getting, and we appreciate the support.
Awesome. Thank you, Clifton. Last week, I put out a video going deck by deck of the Jewel in the Mountain Crown. And there are certain things that our patrons now know that you guys do not. So, which usually I do things after the fact. I thought this would be a little bit more fun because they know things. So, they drink and they know things. All right. Let's go into the recap. This is a bit of a long one, so I'll talk fast. When we last saw, you guys did a lot of stuff last week. I know it feels different when you break it all up, but there's a lot of stuff. So, when we last saw Snortimer's soldiers, the group was wandering about the ship, learning their new responsibilities. Knobolas had a run-in with Alicia. They got their story straight about what happened to Ragnar, and they agreed that they'd both feign ignorance. And Knobolas spent a little time helping Seraphina, the tiefling sorceress aboard the ship, who was not feeling very well. He also made a plan to meet with Talia after a bit of flirting on the balcony that night at 9 o'clock. Alessio learned how to pilot the ship along with Felicity Gearspark and investigated the lower deck where both him and Felicity had an uneasy feeling. That was all you did, apparently. I should plan more stuff for you, Jason. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I went in the basement and saw boxes and had a
You
weird
also
time.
rolled shitty, so you know that had something to do
I
with
rolled
it.
very shitty.
Agnomeio spent I can't even read this one. Agnomeio spent a while dancing with Lil Grizz on top of a table, then walked himself to the back of the ship where he heard a strange voice coming from within the armory. This is where he met Roland. The two fought an honorable yet pitiful duel, and Agnomeio learned that Roland is a prince from a human kingdom on Evera. TaLin spent her time meeting the alchemist Alaric Fireforge and helping him work on a water-breathing potion. Things went well, although not perfect. She's planning on meeting him bright and early at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. She spent a couple hours reading at the library and learned that Vutha is likely a revenant, an undead hell-bent on revenge and stopping at nothing to achieve it. Did I miss anything from you, TaLin? I don't think you ended up talking to Eloin, did you? The herbalist?
No.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I was trying to
did not.
remember. I re-listened to the episode yesterday, and I was actually laughing at the whole the alchemist thing. I was laughing at myself is what I was really doing there. So, you know.
Nice, smooth.
As the crew gathered for lunch, they heard a call from the top deck. The group was being visited by a giant owl. This owl transformed into Pharaoh Rainblossom, a furbulk that they met in Lithuan and again in Helixia. He spoke with the group, letting them know that he was intending on attacking Gleam Shadow, a nearby elven city, to avenge the trapped elemental spirits that the elves used to power and clean the city. Agnomeio rushed towards Pharaoh, sword in the air. Pharaoh transformed back into an owl and leapt from the boat, although he did take a swipe from the Ember Edge. Pharaoh commanded his air elementals to attack the adventurers, the boat, and the crew. And that is where we are going to rejoin you guys, as we are on the top deck of the ship. I'd like you all to roll initiative, please.
Oh,
There are 2 air elements, right? Or is there 4?
You know, it's going to be a good game if this is how we start.
So while you're rolling initiative, I'll kind of give you a lay of the land here. So Pharaoh is not hovering. He's flying close to the ship at the moment. The 2 air elementals have started to drift over the top of the boat. These air elementals, they're probably about 10 feet tall and probably about 8 feet wide. They're more akin to a very slow-moving tornado than like a cloud. There are a couple of other air elementals that have drifted towards the back of the ship away from you guys, seemingly following Pharaoh. All right, so
All right, we're gonna be taking a blow from both ends. Hey-o!
so you guys, you actually all rolled very well on your initiative rolls. Very good. All right,
Yeah,
so
we
we're
just wasted our best rolls of the night on
Right.
oh, that's okay. I'm totally fine with that, actually.
No.
All right. So up first is going to be one of the air elementals. The one actually at the bottom of the ship, I believe. Sorry, I can't tell which one it's targeting. It's the one at the bottom of the ship. All right, so the one at the bottom of the ship, currently right near where the helm is, TaLin Windrider is actively steering the ship. He seems to, unless something happens, now something I will remind you is that if somebody goes over the ship, flying off of the side, TaLin will abandon his post to go try to rescue you. However, if he does that, it will be a few turns before he is able to do that again. So if a couple people go flying, yes, you all have the bounce and live longer system strapped to your chest. So if you do go over the side, there's a good chance that you will survive, but who knows where you'll be. All right. So the first air elemental, he is actually, let's see, he's actually probably coming to this. You know what? Pharaoh would have told him to attack you guys, probably Agnomeio. So he's going to use his hover. He can hover for 90 feet. He's actually going to hover towards you, Agnomeio. Boom, 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 boom. And then he is going to use slam. Actually, I moved. He's too big. Moved right on top of you. He is going to use his whirlwind attack on you immediately.
oh boy.
So he actually does need to be right over to the top of you. So what happens here is you need to roll a strength saving throw.
Okay. I'm not bad at those.
Oh,
Hey,
Ready to.
oh Jesus. So the DC that you needed to beat was a 13. I saw you roll a 13. I was like, wow, that was really close. You rolled a 22 with all your modifiers. So, all right. So,
I somehow sink into the deck a little bit more.
So I'll change my rolls to be public. So you're going to take 7 points of bludgeoning damage, though, because you're going to take half damage on this. All right, and he is going to kind of maneuver his way past you, not out of your range at the moment. He's gonna kind of hang near you. All right, so that is going to be his main attack. Up next is TaLin Windrider, who is actually not going to really do anything. He's going to hang out with his... the way that I have him in there, because basically with the turns that he'll be gone, if he's gone for a certain amount of time, it'll help me track that. All right, so Knobolas, you are the first one up, and maybe... actually, you are currently invisible, hiding on the stairs. You can tell me whether you actually proceeded to go down a flight, or if you are actually just hanging on the stairs.
You know what? I'd like to see this out a little bit just to see how it plays out. I'd like to kind of stay where I'm at, because I know that any action I take will make me not invisible, and I feel like there could be an advantage to me being invisible. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Okay. It's totally your call. All right. Do you want to move at all, or are you just staying?
My strength saving throws are absolute crap, so I will be the first one off this ship if I go up.
Awesome.
So remind me, Bill, what is downstairs? The different levels.
So in the floor directly below you, it's the living quarters. It's where all the beds and the mess hall and everything. Lil Grizz is down there. The last you saw, Milo was down there as well as Seraphina.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd like to head downstairs.
Okay, cool. All right, so you are still invisible, but you are... I'm just going to make you visible for the sake of having a icon on the screen. So, what would you like to do?
So
I'll say you used 15 feet of your movement to get downstairs.
Okay, question. I know if I take an action, I lose my invisibility, but can I, like, talk to people?
You could talk to them, but you won't lose your invisibility. If you were like talking to an enemy, they would certainly get an idea where you are. But if you want to like yell something, then yeah, that's totally fine.
Yeah, I'd like to stand in the middle of the room, and you said both Milo was down here and Seraphina's down here.
Last you knew Talia, Milo, and Seraphina were all down here, as well as Lil Grizz, who's sleeping on the table. I couldn't remember actually. Agnomeio, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't believe that you brought him up with you. I think that you said that you put your cape over him to give him like a little bed, and you put your hat on top of him too.
I know I did that at one point. I don't remember if I did that before I came up, but that might be right. Yeah.
Regardless, Lil Grizz is in the best hall sleeping on the table. All right. So Knobolas, what?
Okay. Well, I'd like to use I imagine if my nipple power is so good, so is my voice. So I'd like to just shout out like a booming voice.
Sure.
Enemies aboard! Come to the deck. Just something just to echo down the halls.
Very good. All right, so actually I will be adding Seraphina and Milo to the roster. Dr. Talia Everhart
Are your nipples attached to your vocal cords? Do they power your vocal cords?
he's got a lot of lung.
All of his internal organs are actually just nipples. It's just all nipples.
It's just all nipples all the way down. All right. Anything else, Knobolas? Sorry.
No, I like you said, like you did. I'd like to come a little bit back up, but stand close to the wall. That way, like they don't bump into me as they're coming up.
All right. Sorry, I should have had that. All right, cool. Up next is Alessio. What would you like to do?
All right, so since these things like to whip around and all over the ship, I would like to actually cast Sleep on one of the air elementals.
Sure. So I'll remind you that Sleep, you end up rolling some dice, and the dice roll has to be higher than their current hit points. And just looking at them, I mean, they could be, but they look pretty imposing. I don't know how much you can roll for your Sleep, but I would guess you probably can't get there.
Roll 5d8s.
Yeah, they have more than that for hit points.
All right, well, thanks for crushing my dream, asshole. All
Sorry.
right.
Wait until you beat him up a little bit.
Oh shit. Yeah, I just feel like if I throw anything or try to hit it with anything, it's not going to work. I will. Damn. I'm going to go with. That's not going to work.
Do you want a minute? I can switch you with Agnomeio.
Yeah, let Agnomeio go. I have to look at my
Sure.
my spells here.
All right.
All right.
Go for it, Agnomeio.
Well, have at me, you whirling derv bitch.
Nice.
I knew he's been waiting all week to say that.
All right. Attacking with my Ember Edge, so that's a 20.
That'll hit.
Yeah, okay. And that'll do, 22 points of damage.
22 points of
Nice.
damage. Excellent. So you swipe Ember Edge through the air elemental, and you see the sparks and fire from the tip of the blade actually swirl in with the air elemental, and it does a bit of damage.
Ooh, that's rad. All right, well, I'm going to do it again.
Of course you are, fighter.
That's what I do.
All right.
18.
18 will hit.
All right. I can only use the D6. Oh, no, that's a bonus action. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So, wait. I gotta do damage.
This is what happens when I give you guys a couple of episodes without combat.
17.
All right, how do we attack again?
I don't. All right, 17
okay.
damage. The first swipe goes through, and the second one comes back. You now see the sparks are actually living inside of this air elemental, and they're staying lit. You see as they're passing through different kind of like I don't know what you'd call it, like parts of the tornado. They're glowing brighter or dimmer based off how much oxygen is kind of getting to them. So this thing is now, it's turning less air and more like a pyroclast.
Oh, neat. I say, that is for Helen Hunt, you twister son of a beach.
I'm looking for a fork
Does
I
that
can
look like
drop
it's a
and
good
say
thing or a
like,
bad thing?
You son of a
finger of God, F5. All right. Are you anything else?
No, that'll be it.
Okay. All right. Up next is Alessio.
All right, well, since Agnomeio just hit him with the fire, I'm going to try to hit him with the ice.
All right.
So I move closer. I get out Rheimgeist Glacial Sting.
Excellent.
Throw an attack. And 14.
A 14 will not hit. Their AC is 15.
Son of a bitch. Okay, then. I'm going to use my bonus action and actually use the blade, use my Frostbite Flourish.
Okay.
So
Excellent.
the next time I do a melee attack, he could get some cold damage. I just want to see if I actually hit this guy, what that does to him. So
Cool. All right. Anything else?
nope.
All right. Up next is Felicity Gearspark. So she's in the she's currently in the helm. She's going to continue to do what she is doing because nothing is currently threatening her. All right, TaLin and Booker, what are you all up to?
Does she see what's going on? Or is she?
Oh yeah.
wait, what?
Well, so but
Oblivious.
she's the two TaLin Windrider. I really should have renamed him. TaLin and Talon was a terrible choice. I also realized downstairs I have
I get
Thalia and Talia, which like anyway. All right. So Felicity Gearspark, basically she controls the elevation. TaLin Windrider controls kind of the navigation. The two work in tandem together, and because Felicity works with those plants, that's why she has to be back there. But she's got a window in front of her, and she could totally see what's happening, but she's staying put. In fact, she's closing the door.
Okay, gotcha. That makes sense. Coward. Okay, so we're on a ship. I know it's an airship, but ships tend to have a lot of rope. Can I tie myself to the ship?
Sure. Actually, I like that idea. You also probably have some rope on you. So,
Yeah, like one way or the other.
where are you tying yourself?
That's a good question.
I mean, like the upper deck wouldn't be truly this empty, would it?
Well,
Or let's see here. Let me.
in this case, because that is how empty it appears, that is how empty it's going to be.
So I'm I'm not next to right now, but I can move over to this area that TaLin,
The circle
whatever,
area. Yep.
TaLin Windrider is in. It looks like there's a lot of wood that I could tie myself to that.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, so that'll be your action to do that, but you could absolutely do that. Give me a sleight of hand, just in case you roll really low. This is going to be for tying the knots.
I didn't even remember. Ooh, okay.
All right, no problem.
12?
Are you also tying Booker, or?
So not at the moment. I want him to have more range than I will have, because I have some range attacks and he doesn't.
Perfect. Okay, so you are able to tie yourself to this, which means at this point, so you probably have, what, 50 feet of rope on you, I would guess? Let's see. So you have rope.
Something like that.
You have 50 feet of rope, which means I'm going to give you a range of about 25 feet around this thing. Actually, no, you'll have 50 feet, minus 10. So 40 feet range away from this pole right here.
Okay.
All right.
Okay,
We'll
that's
figure that out.
fair. And then as a bonus action, BT Dubs, Booker's wearing his bracers of Winter Wolf. He's going to run and jump to bite this air elemental.
Okay.
Like that one.
Excellent. All right, go for it, Booker.
Yep. Come on, bud. Dun, 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 dun. I always yell music for him whenever he does anything. It helps motivate him. Dun, 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 dun.
All right, 22 will definitely
Okay,
hit.
22 hit. And then that's the maul damage, and then there's also the bracers, which is 2d6 cold damage.
Excellent. So you do 11 points of damage to the air elemental. You do see the air is starting to flicker a little bit. He's
What's
like,
that?
it's actually the air elemental gets a little bigger. It's like it's not as tight of a cyclone. So
Plus 7.
why did
do an
Booker
extra
roll
7 because
again?
of the bracers.
Oh, okay.
They do an extra 2d6
I
cold
think they're
damage.
attached to the cold. That's the slashing cold on the maul damage, right? No, they do 2d6. Never mind. All right. I thought I
supposed
had
to be
made it so that
2d6.
they rolled at the same time. That's fine. Okay. Anything else?
That will be it.
All right. Up next is Pharaoh. So Pharaoh has been kind of gliding alongside this this boat for the moment. He's got a pretty good fly speed. What he's going to do now is he's going to make an attack towards TaLin Windrider. Actually, no, he's not. So what he's going to do, he is going to fly over Alessio, hitting him while he goes. He has a skill that makes it so you can't do opportunity attacks. But he's going to kind of come at you with his talons. All right. I know, more
So many
talons.
talons and
All the talons. And he's going to roll a natural
claws.
1.
Yes.
So he goes to grasp at you, but he kind of misjudges how fast the boat's going. So he ends up down here about. Okay.
Can he hit a wind current that he wasn't expecting and do a weird embarrassing loop-de-loop?
You know what? He rolled a natural 1. I'm actually going to say that that's exactly what happens, and he ends up hitting the ground.
I think he underestimates my sneakiness.
So he, I'm gonna say that he hits the ground and he's currently prone on the ground, and very much regretting what he just did. All right, Magnus Stormrider is up next. He is going to take his turn to go run as fast as he can back towards Felicity Gearspark. While he's he's going to do this while he's running. He yells down the stairs, "We're under attack! Get up here!" So,
Anyone didn't hear me previously, but okay.
Well, you were below deck. He might not have heard you. So he's got these tornadoes rushing toward. This whiskey is definitely I liked it before, but it's becoming one of those easily sippable whiskeys, and that's going to be a problem. Mm-hmm. All right. So the other air elemental, seeing Alessio and Agnomeio kind of clumped up. He's going to go right here. You're both within his area. He's going to use his whirlwind ability as well. So you both need to roll a 13 strength saving throw.
Okay.
I don't mind telling you. I know that's no problem for Agnomeio.
Yeah,
21.
Really.
Holy dang, he rolled a 12 and got
Oh,
21.
wait, no, I didn't. That wasn't me.
Yeah, I'm ridiculously strong.
All right. So Alessio, Alessio's going to take 21 points of damage.
No, I use my uncanny dodge. That's half.
All right, so you'll take 10 points of damage. Same with you, Agnomeio. And Alessio, I'm going to move him out of the way. You're going to get blasted 20 feet this way. You are still on the boat, but you are... you're basically on the railing. You are kind of like we'll do this. Like you kind of stumble backwards, and you're now bent over backwards over the railing, and you're looking at the ground passing below you. But you're still on your feet, and you're still able to move and whatever. You're not. Let me just double check that you're not knocked prone. For some reason, I think you might be. 15 flung 20 feet in. Nope. Oh, yep, you are knocked prone. All right, so you'll have to use half of your movement to stand up next turn, but other than that, you're good. All right, up next, Seraphina comes charging up from below deck, and you see her. She's actually holding onto the handrail as she's kind of not limping, but like really seems to be struggling to get up here, and she sees these two air elementals, and she's just like she seems half awake, but there's something really wrong with her. Either way, she sees the air elementals, and she is going to. She's not going to do a fireball because you guys are right there. So what she's going to do is she's going to. Sorry, firebolt. She's going to cast firebolt on the one that's more hurt, the one at the top. Here we go. And you see her, she holds her hand out to cast fireball, and you just see like a little sizzle kind of come from her palm, and you see this look of worry on her face. She's like something's just not working right with her magic. And then she's actually going to kind of duck back to the side of this, hiding behind the balcony, going back below deck. All right, up next, we're going to go back to the lower deck for a second, where Knobolas and a couple others are. So Knobolas, you see Milo Underfoot come screaming around the corner. He doesn't see you. And he has these two large, think like a rectangular box with a long cannon kind of coming out of it, almost like a potato launcher. Except the potato launcher is obsidian black, and it's got these gold-colored arcane symbols all over it, and they're glowing. And he's just got this really cool look on his. He's just like this is gonna be awesome, and he goes running. Actually,
I like to shout out to. Oh,
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, no, because he's about to run right directly into you.
I was like, Milo, what the hell are you doing?
And you see he kind of like skids to a stop. He looks around. Knobolas, where are you?
I'm incognito, and it's for a good cause. We're being attacked upstairs. No one knows I'm here, and no one knows I'm invisible except you. Milo, can I trust you to tell me when and where I need to be to help save my friends and your ship?
You need to be up on the deck right now. And he takes one of the guns and he puts it right at his feet. He says, pick that thing up, fire it the way I showed you, and meet me on the deck. And then he...
No. He just left.
Yeah, he left.
Well, I can't pick this up and do anything with it, right, Bill?
Yeah, you totally could. You so earlier in the day, you hung out with Milo and you learned how to shoot it.
Oh no, I know, but like, it'll just be a giant floating gun at this point, right?
Well, yes, not while you're invisible. I mean, you could hold it, but it will be a giant floating gun. Yes.
Okay, great. This is incredibly unhelpful. Okay.
All right. So regardless, Milo runs up and he's going to take out the where did I put this thing? It is apparently the Skyfire Blaster. So he is wearing this bandolier with all these little different colored gems in it, and he aims it at the air elemental that just blew you, Alessio and tried to get you, Agnomeio, and he is going to take a shot. So you see a whole bunch of energy kind of flow into the front of this thing, and then all of the sigils glow, and you see the little crystal that was kind of working as the ammunition just vaporizes, and a huge chunk of this just magical essence flies out of the front for a 23, which is going to do 11 points of damage to this guy, and push him back 5 feet as well, which is kind of impressive because it's just air, but it's going to work. So. And Milo, he's again has this giant smile on his face, and he says, "Don't worry, everybody, Milo's here." Up next comes the my music is sucking tonight. It's just like not working. Sorry. All right, up next is going to be the air elemental, the first one. I'm sorry. I also was on top of Booker when I was not.
No, the other one was on top, like where they currently are.
This one was on top of Booker,
because I was
right?
looking to see if we were getting hit at the same time.
Yeah, so Booker would have gotten hit by that whirlwind.
So the
right?
the one that is to the right of Agnomeio, like the lower one, was not on top of Booker.
Okay, sorry, you're right.
That.
And this one was not when things originally started. Okay, never mind. Good.
Yeah.
Didn't really want to kill Booker today. Okay, so speaking of which, the air elemental is going to take another attack at you, Agnomeio, except this time it's going to be a slam attack. So he has 2 of these, and what you see in front of you is the air kind of condenses into almost like a hammer, and it swings down at you. And 16, that's not going to hit you, I believe.
Oh no.
No. So it kind of you I don't know, you do something like you kind of put your hands up and the air just breaks around you, but you see the floor beneath you cracks a bit, the wood splinters and everything, and you just kind of look, how did that not hit me? And as long
as he missed. Oh, he's doing it again.
He's doing it again, but before that happens, you could do whatever you
I would like to use my riposte to try and smack him back.
Okay.
So I'll do a standard attack.
Yep.
And
Nice.
oh, nice. Well, all right then.
Well, a 30 is gonna hit. Yep.
Yeah, I kind of figured, and that's a critical.
Yeah.
So 26 damage plus my proficiency die, which is a D8.
Ooh, you could kill him in this.
120s with whiskey and dice.
Okay, so only 27, but still 27
right.
damage, not bad.
He had 7 points of hit points left, so now he's got 6. But I was like, oh, you roll a d8. But all right, so good job. So he then comes down again with this like hammer-sized, air thing, and hits you for 15. So because it was at 22. All right, but at this point, he is also going to. He's just going to roll to see if he gets his whirlwind back, which he did not. All right. So the air elemental is feeling pretty rough at the moment. He's very close to death. TaLin Windrider, at the moment he is still not under attack, so he's good. Knobolas, you're up.
All right. So currently I'm standing beside Seraphina, right? Or like I'm on the staircase. Basically.
You're still below deck at the moment.
Okay.
Right here.
I'm gonna try something weird. I'm gonna walk back upstairs to be close near Seraphina.
Okay. All right.
And I'm going to disguise self and mostly my voice. Disguise my voice to be that of my patron, I think is the term.
Solgradan, yep.
Yes, Solgradan. I'm going to pretend to be him. And I'm going to talk to her. Seraphina.
She looks around.
Yeah.
Yes?
What's up?
I understand what you're going through right now. All will be well. Just trust in me.
She wasn't the one that, she's not Alessio, right?
I know.
Okay, all right, just making sure. All right.
I'm not. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure. I'm sorry. All right. She says.
I know this is gonna creep her the f out right now, but
yeah, for sure. But she's gonna say, "Oh, okay. I don't know who you are, but okay. What should I do?"
Go downstairs. You'll find a weapon. That while your weapon is slightly underperforming, shall we say, this one will help you fight.
Okay. All right. I'll do that. Yeah. And she looks down at her hands, which, again, it's kind of like fizzling. And I think you've probably convinced her. But just for the heck of it, roll a persuasion check for me. I'd say just RP wise, I'm willing to be persuaded unless you roll really crappy.
See.
Plus, we got.
Oh, there you go.
25.
Jeez, you guys are rolling well tonight. All right, so natural 20. So she, you actually see a bit of like life kind of return back to her face, and she's like, she looks over at Milo. She says, "Milo, I'm gonna go get one of the guns. Are you good up here?" And he says, he's just laughing maniacally. No response. So, anything else, Knobolas?
Is there anyone else below deck? Oh, we haven't seen what's her name?
You haven't seen Alicia. No, she's locked in her room, presumably.
I'm gonna go downstairs again. I'm gonna see if I can.
Okay.
I never know what your plans are.
They don't have plans.
It's so funny.
I'm trying to recruit as many people as possible to come up here and fight these bitches. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
no, this is great.
His Nip's so tired, okay? He's delegating.
I have a plan to be invisible. I'm not just invisible to avoid battle. I'm
It's
literally
totally
planning to do some, like, fucked up shit, like, to help save y'all. Like, I don't want to reveal everything.
Okay,
That's fine.
okay.
I love it. All right, so up next is Agnomeio.
Oh,
So
all right.
you've used your reaction for what it's worth, but that's it.
Yes. Well, that's okay. Because, at this point, I'm standing in between two giant enemies, and I'm just gonna... I'm just gonna swing. It's time for the old-fashioned Hobblehaven sword dance. Slash, slash, hand, slash, stab, slash, hand. Oh yeah, and Bartholomew pops out with a little pair of bagpipes. He's just playing along.
Yes, finally, Bartholomew makes a showing. Yes. All right. So presumably
for the one on my left, a 26.
Yep. All right. Go ahead and roll for damage. 26 will hit. I can't imagine you won't kill him. All right. So you go ahead and kill him, but tell me how you managed to kill this elemental.
Well, I'm thinking I kind of like the idea of like slashing upward, and it's like heat lightning is shooting out of him, like pa-choo, pow, pow, quam, plop.
Awesome. So as this lightning kind of is coming off of this thing, a couple pieces singe the deck, but nothing alights. But there's now these few little marks of black scorch on the ship's hull or deck.
Yeah, I should probably be careful not to light the ship on fire. It's probably a bad idea.
I'm just
another crit. Look at that.
Jeez.
Holy shit. It's the whiskey.
I know.
It's some good whiskey.
And another 26 damage.
No big deal.
Yeah,
all right.
Go.
That's fine. All right. So you I don't even know how to describe this, but you do an additional 26 points of damage to the air elemental. Good job. Anything else?
No, I think that's enough. That's enough.
All right. Alessio, you are currently prone, and it is your turn.
All right, I'm just gonna like take a nap. Agnomeio, you got this, buddy.
Would you like to use half your movement to stand up, or are you actually?
Yeah, sure. I use half my movement to stand up and get away from the damn side of the thing.
Sure. All right, go ahead and move yourself where you'd like, and then anything else?
What can I do here? So if I use Misty Step to try to get behind the air elemental, I can only go 15 feet. Is that the thing?
No, Misty Step will work, I think, 60 feet. So it's like a different set of movement.
I was going to say it's a different set, right?
Yep. Oh, it goes 30 feet. Yeah.
30 feet.
I'll let you get... yeah, you can get close enough. That's fine.
I'm going to move right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, move the dead one. So I'll move right there.
Cool. So you're going to Misty Step.
And then I'm going to try to... I can't believe I got to follow Agnomeio with that fucking attack.
Well, you're gonna get sneak attack on this because of the Misty Step.
Okay.
And flanking. So if you attack, you're gonna get to do your sneak attack.
All right. Well, hopefully I hit here. I'm gonna try to use the glacial sting again.
Okay.
So I'm gonna attack. Do I get so I can roll with advantage? Correct.
So you can roll with advantage, plus you get to add that extra damage because you had used the bonus action last turn.
Oh, that's
The-
right.
yeah.
I can add the.
I think the icy assault or something like that.
cold.
Yeah. You get
Yeah,
an
the
extra
frost
1d6
flare.
cold damage.
All right, so let me go first with this one.
24 will hit.
24 will hit. All right, let me get to. All right, first let me go with the Frostbite Flourish. So that will do. Deals an additional 1d6 of cold damage. Let me roll
Yep.
that.
Well, so roll your attack, and then roll your. We'll add an extra d6 to that, and then you can roll your sneak attack.
Roll the sneak attack. Got it. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, like you said, it's been a while since we've fought.
That's totally fine. I had to think too.
All
right, so roll your damage. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so that's gonna be 15. Roll an addition. It actually already rolled the d6, so that's great. No, that's the d6 that's inherent to the thing. So roll an additional d6.
All right, so roll one. Oh, hold on. We'll run d6.
So that was 2d6.
two, no.
That's
All
all
right,
right.
let me
You
roll
rolled
one.
you rolled. There you go. All right, so you rolled a 1. Plus 1. I don't know what that's about. All right, whatever. You rolled a 1. So you
Run,
did
and let me get the sneak attack.
sneak
damage.
attack. Yep. So you've done 16 points of damage so far. TaLin, you're on deck, by the way.
Sneak attack damage.
Whew. Love when I see all
19.
this. All right, so you did follow up Agnomeio pretty well. So you did 15 plus, you did 16 plus 19 damage. Quite a bit. So what, 35 damage? Nice. All right.
Bartholomew starts singing.
Alessio's back and back! He stabbed his back! He slashed and stabbed and then he hacked!
I actually poke my head through the wind dune, and I'm like, "You're not the only one with the moves, Agnomeio."
Fantastic. All right. Cool. Felicity, she's gonna not do anything with her turn. TaLin and Booker, what would you like to do? So TaLin, you're standing there
Okay.
currently, kind of like not really being threatened with just a rope tied around your waist, and you kind of look a little weird. Booker's
Whatever.
running around doing all the work for you. And
I
you're just
don't
like,
care.
I'm
Being
safe.
smart can look weird. I don't care. Okay, quick question. Because I'm a little baby when it comes to magic.
Sure.
I get 2 attacks per action, but like a cantrip or a spell is an action. Can I do like a cantrip and like an attack?
No.
Or
Nope. So a spell is basically an action. What you can do,
Got
and
it.
we could talk about this another time too, is if you have like bonus actions for your regular spell, you could also do a cantrip, but we can discuss that later.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay, so I am going to follow-up question.
Yep.
Is Pharaoh prone?
Pharaoh
It
is
doesn't
prone.
really make a difference. I just want to establish whether he is.
Pharaoh is prone, so you'll
okay,
you'll
cool.
have advantage unless you're doing a ranged attack, in which case you'd have disadvantage. But if you like go up to him and hit him, you'd have advantage.
Oh, okay. So if I did like my
tell
cantrip
me
of
what-
produce flame, I would. I was gonna both basically action produce flame because it does 2d8, and then Booker was also going to run up and bite him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Do I need
the
a?
produce flame in this case? I don't know what the range is, but let's assume it hits. That would be a disadvantage. Booker
Yeah,
running up and
he
hitting
should
him,
hit.
which I don't think he can make it.
He can. I
Oh,
mentioned.
you can. Yep. That would be an advantage.
Okay, go Booker. I'm gonna be trying first so that I don't accidentally hit Booker.
Sure.
So just to clarify, okay. Here's flame, attack, disadvantage, lame. Well, that's not gonna go. Come on, Booker.
So the
Take Pharaoh down.
the little flame kind of flies past Pharaoh, and it lands on the deck, and you see it just burning for a minute or so. Again, singeing the deck.
It's small.
So Booker
okay.
Booker runs over to Pharaoh. Go Ned, do
Yes.
your thing.
He is doing his thing. 22.
22 will definitely hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
Okay.
Booker's the
And
man.
plus my 2d6.
Booker's the dog.
Yeah, he is.
It wasn't like
Ooh.
9 plus 4, so 13.
All right, so 13. So in Pharaoh's giant owl form, he actually has quite a bit less health than he would normally. But 13 is not enough to knock him out of that form. So, anything else?
No, I'm not ready to untie myself, and I can't anyways. I used my action. So nope.
Perfect. All
I'm
right.
good.
So it's now Pharaoh's turn. This has not gone quite the way that he expected. He is going to stand up from prone.
Watch
So
it
it's gonna
roll
be...
another 1, big boy.
I know, right? No, he's gonna get out of here.
And trip.
So he is going to fly off the ship, but Booker will not get a opportunity attack because he's flying and that's like his thing. Pharaoh is now sufficiently.
Booker's barking at him.
Yeah, and but Pharaoh. So like, I'm trying to remember what the movie was. I distinctly remember there being a movie with like a bird like hobbling and really trying to, I don't know, whatever. He has a lot of trouble taking off, and he's really really hurt. You can actually see quite a few of his feathers are in Booker's mouth. So he's had a bad time.
Good boy.
Magnus Stormrider, he's actually seeing that you guys are doing pretty well here, and he's just gonna kind of hang out. Let's see, he doesn't have any sort of real ranged attack, so there's really nothing he can do to help, other than just kind of oversee. All right, so this will probably be the last attack with this arrow elemental, so I'm gonna make it a good one. I see Alessio and Agnomeio are both... Well, let's see if I get my whirlwind back, because that will at least help me figure out what I'm going to do. I do not. Okay. So that helps. So instead, he's going to continue to beat on Agnomeio.
That's fair.
So he is going to... This time you're going to see...
Agnomeio's whiskey is getting better and better here.
Right?
Right?
Yeah.
I'm glad.
An 11's definitely not going to hit.
I'm going to repost.
Oh, sure. Yep.
You can do that.
Yep.
It's a
And a
good
15
time.
won't hit anyway. Oh, these guys suck. You guys have been rolling like champs, and I've been rolling not like champs.
Whiskey.
All right, go ahead and
You should have drank
repost.
more.
Yeah.
I've been trying. I'm on my third glass.
Dang.
Yeah,
All right,
I know, right?
23. I think that's going to hit.
That'll hit. Yep.
All right.
For 19,
and
which
20.
actually, that is just enough to kill him. He had 18 hit points left.
Ah!
All right. So
Right.
in a matter of a couple of seconds, you actually kill both of these things. So if there's anything you want to describe or go for it, make it sound cool.
I just want Paraxis to just engulf this thing in flame. Just whoosh.
Absolutely.
It's like a fire tornado.
So
Like in a non-damage the ship kind of
Well,
way. Right?
yeah, it can be like 3 feet off the ground. Or
So-
whatever, you know?
Okay, cool. Perfect.
there was something I actually missed. So earlier you rolled a crit with Pyroxis. When you did,
Yeah.
you saw on the hill. Actually, did you roll 2 or was that? Did you roll 2?
I think the other one was something else.
I think you rolled 2. There's
Did I?
the yes,
Were they both with Pyroxis?
yeah.
Oh, I did roll.
You
two.
sure did.
Oh.
All right. So I forgot about this, and this is just something I've been waiting for a crit, and it's been a while. So with each one of those crits, you see this little rune illuminate on the blade of the sword. And there are now 2 of these runes that are illuminated. And you're starting to notice that they go up the entire length of the sword. About 8 of them in total. And you have 2 of them lit at the moment. So that's
Man,
something
you
to
guys
remember.
unlit.
All right. So at this point, Seraphina comes running up from below deck. She's got the cannon in her hand. She looks around. There's no more air elementals left.
Shoot the bird! Shoot the bird!
Sure. Actually, this thing has a long range. So she hears you yelling, shoot the bird. And she's going to.
Oh,
So-
I thought you meant like to give him the finger.
Oh,
I saw you were like, oh,
everybody all at once. Everybody flip him off if you shoot him.
to Pharaoh.
All right. So she's going to take the Skyfire blaster. She's going to load it with a little crystal, and she's going to take a shot at Pharaoh. 15 will hit for 15
Yeah!
points of damage. So what you see is This owl actually, he's not dead. It that would be a hell of a thing. But it does in midair turn back into a furbolg who you see plummet off the side of the ship.
Can they fly?
And
Yes.
at least from your point of view, like where you currently are, you can't see what happens to him. That being said, if you run over, you might be able to see something, but it's completely up to you.
No, I would not. Don't go near that.
I'm tied. I can't run over.
There should be
TaLin's
baby
like,
over
oh
there.
shit.
I mean, if we're out of initiative order, I don't know.
You're
if
out
we
of
are, but I
initiative.
would totally run over. Okay, yeah,
Okay.
I'm totally running over and peering
Sure.
over and be like,
So you
TaLin's gonna try.
you run over to the other side. You peer off the edge. Go ahead and roll a perception for me. Especially because you're short and it's going to be a little tough to see over the side.
well,
I'm
that's
going with him. I'm going with him a look.
Sure.
Climb up on the thing.
Alessio, you can roll as well.
Oh yeah, I can't see.
Oh.
I can't see Jack.
I'll try a perception. I can't see anything either. So.
So as far as you guys know,
Clouds.
you saw him plummet and you didn't see what happened to him. He's gone. Down below, despite the obvious like clouds and stuff, you do see it's flat ground, like it's real. It's land below you. It's not sea. So it's entirely possible that if he's way far down, you just wouldn't see him. Kind of disappear against the
I
backdrop.
look at Agnomeio and I'm like, too bad. I usually like to eat owl on Thanksgiving.
Serafina,
Can we see the other air elementals? Are they still?
they
hanging
are.
out
They
with
are.
us,
They've.
or-
So they're still technically on the map, but no, they're long gone.
Oh, okay.
They were kind of there to. Yeah. Sorry. So what you see, Serafina, she kind of looks down at the gun and then she looks over at Milo and she says, "Boy, I never really noticed how awesome this thing is. This is great." And she goes to hand it back to Milo. And she kind of looks around, very, very happy with herself. Magnus kind of walks up and pats her on the shoulder, and then he looks over at you guys, and he's you guys, you told me
Serafina
that.
blushes, by the way.
Yes,
She
for
has
sure.
a crush on Magnus.
Absolutely, she would.
Yeah.
She so Magnus says, "You all told me that you weren't gonna be causing trouble. We've been on the ship for a few
We
hours.
solved trouble. We
You
solved trouble.
You solved, and you look like a fool with the rope tied around your waist."
Hey, I was trying to untie it when they were running over. I just couldn't get it untied fast enough. It's untied now, though.
That's fine. That's fine. Just make sure you clean up after yourself, and he's. Let's
I
see.
keep my rope.
Who shot? Actually, it was you. He walks downstairs for a minute, and he comes back up, and he hands you a mop, and then he points to where there's like scorch on the deck, and he says, "I believe I saw that flame come out of your hand. I'd like you to take care of that for me, if you wouldn't mind. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it, TaLin." And then he goes. He turns around and he goes back down deck, and he points to Felicity. He says, "Onward to the Dark Timberlands." All right. So that will take us out of combat. I'm going to shut up for a second. If there's anything you guys want to discuss.
Where is Booker allowed to pee?
That's a good question.
I look around. I look around and go, "Where the hell is Knobolas?"
He missed
Who
a
the
hell of
fuck
a
is
fight.
that?
It's a fair question.
I'm like, we could have used those nips. They had range. I mean, we did pretty good though. Like,
Oh yeah.
without the nips. So,
I mean, I'm gonna go take a nap because I'm like half dead, but
Fair
weren't
enough.
you sleeping with little G earlier? Like, how many naps do you need?
listen, I'm very angry and very small. I need a lot of naps.
Oh, we have a lot in common. Like in real life.
Let's see. So,
Right.
TaLin, I'd like you to make a quick
TaLin's
perception.
cleaning up her spot.
I'd like you to make a quick perception check for me while you're cleaning.
Okay. Okay. I went over to the spot to clean, but you got it. I'm working on it. Actually, I'm gonna do it with real dice. Do-do-do-do. Let's need to check what my plus is. Okay, it's a +1. That is a 9.
A 9.
Like that's with the +1 is a 9.
Well, so what you actually see, unfortunately, so although the map doesn't quite display this very well, on the sides of the railing here, there are holes. Just kind of think of like a regular ship. There's like these, like open spots. And what you see is this little blue crystal that had fallen from one of the air elementals slide off the side and drop down past where you could see. Like it falls off overboard.
Wait, like one of the plants?
No, sorry, let me explain that better. A gem of sorts fell out of one of the air elementals, and before anybody could notice it, you happened to see it slide off the side of the ship.
Ooh.
So I run to look where the other air elemental was and see if that one also dropped a gem.
Sure. There's no gem with this one.
Damn it.
Yeah, unfortunately. You guys finally had an opportunity to actually get some loot, and it didn't work out.
And it all blew off.
It all blew off.
Okay.
All right, so at this point, Knobolas, what are you doing?
I think I might come back up awkwardly and turn off my invisibility before I come up.
So you emerge from below deck, and you're nobody knew that you were invisible except for Milo. He gives you a look of kind of like disgust, like you missed the whole thing, but he doesn't say anything. He just proceeds below deck.
What'd I miss?
Knobolas, you missed it. I made a fire out of murder.
I could see that.
Wait.
Well, there's the episode title.
Fire out of murder.
Fire out of murder. All right. Yep.
I mean, if no one else is questioning it, it's all good.
Yeah.
No, I just
Wait, so what were you doing? Where were you?
Alessio goes, where were you?
Guys, I had a plan to help you all out, and you seem to handle it very well yourself, so more power to you. No one died. Booker's still here.
No one died. Okay.
Booker
That is much
is
more
still
That's a
here.
very low bar. For, like,
That is the most important.
for a good
Booker is
day,
still
like,
here.
no one died. Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna go. Fortunately for you, Agnomeio was rolling well tonight.
For real.
You have mollified TaLin completely. TaLin's over there just giving like love to Booker because he did so good with Pharaoh. And he's got all of those little feathers. She's like gathering all the feathers that he bit.
Sure.
In all honesty,
He gets a
I
bone.
actually did have a plan to help you all out. See, whenever I was blown into the stairwell, I put on invisibility because I thought I could find a way to use the blue and yellow elements or stones or whatever they are to shake the ship in a way to make the air elementals get a bit like disoriented. And you guys killed them before I could even make them down there. So honestly, you guys nailed it.
Right.
Was,
I
was
made
that
a
really- was that-
persuasion.
You tried.
okay. That's the,
Well, you know,
well,
I don't understand you, Warlock man. Not
yeah,
even a
but-
little.
The air elementals.
Let's
kind
go
of float-
drink.
The air elementals kind of float on their own. So moving the ship, not really sure how that would work, but okay.
Okay, it was just an idea, guys. I'm sorry.
My metagame, my favorite part is how you seemed like so proud of this idea that you had, and Alessio was just like, air elementals move on their own and they're like flying. Like, it totally wouldn't have done
They
anything.
were fine.
But also, I anticipated this being a much more epic, big battle. Like, Bill, you've been putting us through some hell, and I thought there was going to be at least 10 more air elementals, and I thought I was going to be the savior, but obviously that didn't happen. So, you know what?
I actually do agree with that. I thought there were going to be some more air elementals.
Everybody roll initiative.
Yeah,
No.
exactly.
That's why I double checked about the other two to make sure they weren't
Suddenly
sneaking
20
up on
Vuthas
us.
pop through the deck.
Yes.
Flying all of a sudden.
It's not
Vutha
the moon
comes
cycle
back,
yet.
And Vutha has wings.
Yes. Fire Vutha comes from the scorch marks.
Speaking of, hey, Alessio, I found a book that could be really useful for you. So with your buddy Vutha.
Oh, is it?
Now-
Is it all about what do you call those things?
Revenant.
Revenants.
Revenants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a revenant.
I'm gonna need to read that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll lend it to you. But basically, I wasn't around whenever you pissed him off. So I don't really know, like, what you did to piss him off. But basically, you have to convince him, like, resolve your issues with him. Or he's just going to keep coming back every moon.
Seriously?
cycle.
I have to resolve my issues with him? That's how
Yeah.
I fix this? Have you seen him? He does.
Yeah, I don't know what you did.
He doesn't
Like,
want.
can you make it up to him? Can you find out what was, like, important to him and, like, make that better?
I think the important thing was
I left him for dead on a. I left him for dead on a sinking ship. I don't think talking it out is gonna work.
That's how you. I mean, other than that, he's just gonna keep coming back every moon. You can read the book though. I'm lending you the book.
Oh,
Wait.
is that the
I
clip?
have an idea.
I have to hash it out after the whole book. All it says, the only way to defeat him is to hash it out.
The book is basically another guy who managed to defeat him.
What if we let him drown you, just a little?
What if we trick him into thinking that he drowned him?
He's gonna drown me, just
But,
like
you
half
know,
drown me.
he didn't.
Half drown me.
A little bit.
Drown,
Just a little
drown
bit.
me enough where I'm almost
Actually-
dead and revive me.
Yeah, exactly.
We could do that. The alchemist downstairs, I could fix his experiment. He's not very good at it. But he's got a thing for helping you breathe underwater. So we could make Vutha think that he drowned you, but then we could use that thing so that you could breathe underwater and you'd be fine. So you could just play dead.
All right, now I like where
Uh-huh.
you're going with this. Huh?
Huh?
Huh? Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Well, before we leave, make
Okay.
sure we get that thing, and then let's remember that plan
Yeah.
when Vutha shows up to kick my ass again.
Yeah. We need to test it out first because he's not very good at his job. And
Oh, goody.
as far as I can tell, it works only really well on his species. It works less well on my species. So we should check it on your species
Oh, okay.
and optimize it. So, but that's a thing.
That's a great idea.
Option 1 for pacifying Vutha.
All right. I like your style. Go with it.
So
We'll study it.
while you guys are having this conversation, Seraphina has strangely stayed near you. At this point, Magnus is kind of wandering around a bit, but Seraphina has stayed near you guys, and she's looking around, and she's looking a little like panicked. And she says, I know what this sounds like saying it out loud, but did any of you hear voices during that battle?
Oh, you should talk to
Nope, you're
Knobolas.
cuckoo.
He talks to
Well-
voices all the time.
I
I
heard.
think it's the devil.
Well. All right. So this is
Damn,
not.
you just exposed me like that. Fuck.
So Bill, this isn't. Is this the same voice? Oh no, I didn't hear a voice. Right. All I did was send something weird downstairs. Right. I did not hear a voice. there.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
And actually, I would say, well, Knobolas, so let's clarify something. So you were invisible at the time, and you were using your abilities to fake the voice of Silgradan. You talked to Seraphina. Was this were you whispering in her ear? Were you talking? How loud were you being? Would anybody else have heard you is the main question.
No, I was the only one downstairs with her.
Okay.
And
Okay.
to make it clear, I uninvisibled myself before I came back up the stairs, so no one knew I was invisible. Like you said, that one guy, Milo, had suspicions because he heard my voice.
Yeah.
But no one else would have known.
Except when you came up, you specifically said, I was downstairs and invisible and I was doing all this stuff. And she definitely would have heard that.
You
But
did
I
say
had,
that.
hope, I
Yeah.
had hoped that I did not say that, and I was trying to remember if I said that. And just revealed
that's
it.
okay.
See, this is why alcohol makes this game so much more fun.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
So much fun.
Speaking of which, so quick time out.
What had
here.
happened was.
So quick.
Oh yeah, quick time out.
Quick
Whiskey.
time out because I did say we'd talk about this after the battle. So I've had 3 of these at this point. I'm gonna have a 4th. This didn't even need to grow on me, to be honest. The initial bite was a little bit, like you mentioned, it had a little bit of an edge on it, but really not much. And I think 45% is a good call. I think a little bit higher, it might bring out some more unpleasant. No, it might carry more
It
unpleasant.
wasn't as good at. I
Yeah.
have a jar of cast strength. It wasn't as good at cast strength.
Okay.
It was it just didn't have the flavors. It was just kind of dull but with a lot of burn.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
know
You
what
know, I
do you
said
remember what
drink
cast
it.
strength was? Yeah.
112 after the
Okay.
blending, because I had that one low barrel and then the other 2 barrels were a little higher. Yeah.
Well, I know I said I drank higher proof, but like I just finished my second glass of it, and this is so drinkable. Like I could, I don't think it drinks higher proof. I think it drinks right at 98, and it's like Bill
It
said earlier. This is
delivers
dangerously
like a higher
drinkable.
proof.
Yeah, this is all about that maltiness and the spice. It just rounds everything out, and it's really good, man. It gets
Y'all are making me blush.
It's getting more chocolatey too, man. It's so good.
You gave a bunch of people who
If
like
it's
whiskey
too
a
many
good
compliments,
whiskey. So
yeah. If it's too many compliments, I did just pour some Knob Creek single barrel to just up my proof.
Well,
I mean, don't get me
Some
wrong.
better
I did
role
kill a
playing
bottle of
whenever
Sky
I
Junior
drink it
earlier,
higher
so-
proof. Oh shit!
no,
But
oh, yeah.
look, I still came back to
But
Ed's
for real,
whiskey.
this stuff is
a
good.
little bit of a margarita.
But like the
left
fact
over
that
from
like
earlier.
This is the saddest
Ooh,
looking margarita I've
margaritas.
ever seen, Bill.
Well, yeah, I mean it's like
done.
it's been
It's
melting
old, it's
and
done.
it's not great. Yeah. All right. So as far as I'm concerned, I like this a lot. I'm very excited to see what you do with the old, as it continues to age.
Yeah.
Yes.
Give it.
Now
give
back
it
to everyone
comments-
ganging up on
comments,
Knobolas.
Salty dog.
All right, we'll
Yeah. Now to Invisa Nibbles.
we'll pop back over to the game here. All right, so Serafina, she looks directly at you, Knobolas, and actually she, as I mentioned, she heard you say that you were invisible, and she looks at you and she says, tell me now if that was you, because that's fine, but otherwise, like, it's not good for sorceresses to hear voices, and it might be something I need to deal with.
That was certainly not me. I don't know what voice you referred to. I ran downstairs to try to control the ship, as I mentioned, and to get us to go up and down. I shouted out. I mean, I don't know if you heard me when I first came down. I shouted out, "Hey, we're being attacked upstairs! Like, everyone on deck!" And then I immediately ran downstairs.
I did hear that. That actually got me out of my room. Took me a minute to get up here. So I'd like you to roll a deception check, and she's actually going to roll against you with her perception.
And
It's funny because I'm so on Serafina's side because I played her for one episode. I'm like, come on,
25.
Serafina.
All right, so she rolled lower than
shit.
25. So she's at the moment she's like, okay, all right, I need to go think about this for a moment.
Can you tell me about this voice you heard? Because I as the team mentioned, I do occasionally hear voices.
It was
Don't you fuck with Serafina.
Don't say it unless you're saying it out loud, because I'll react to it. All right. So she says it was a really deep guttural voice, like what you read about demons. Something I don't want to hear again, but it told me to trust in it. And I shot with the gun, and I hit the owl. Apparently, I don't really know what was going on, but you all seemed happy about it, so I'm assuming I did a good job. And but if this is a new
Can
thing
the other
for
three
me.
of us hear this, or is this private?
Yeah, no, she's talking directly to Knobolas. So,
Okay,
like
okay.
you can hear this, although I see Agnomeio. Did you run below deck or?
Oh no, I just backed away from the.
Sure.
He's back to the tables. He's dancing. It's all good.
That's totally fine. All of you can hear this.
Sign of Uros and backing away.
I'd like to look. I would like to look at it with like a look of acknowledgement and like a slight nod and like a little bit of like a grin,
Sure.
just to slightly indicate that like that sounds pretty familiar to me.
All right. She's gonna. She'll see that, and she's gonna make her way downstairs. She's not hurt, but again, she's kind of limping. She's walking very slowly, but she's gonna make her way downstairs. And she's gonna say, "I'm gonna go back to my room. I'd appreciate if none of you would interrupt me for a while. I'm gonna think on this." All right. Is there anything else that you would like to do?
Okay, so I'm gonna go over to Knobolas.
Oh God.
Because I'm on Serafina's side. Like, I know
I'm
you
not on her
gotta,
side.
I know you gotta recruit and do your thing, and I'm trying not to get in the way of that. But like, because we've all talked, we clarified like some of our secret things or whatever, like around the campfire, just us, just Snortimer soldiers. But But like this girl's got like a future, like she's got a chance with Magnus, like let her live her best life.
But she's obviously
just
not.
saying.
I mean, her power is weakened. She is sitting in turmoil and distress in her room. I mean, all I'm
And
trying
you
to
think
do is
the
help
devil's
her.
gonna help her with that? That's not
mean,
helping her. You know
look at
it's out
me.
of selfish reasons.
Look at me.
Should we make a pact right now? Like, no proselytizing without group consent.
Right? Yeah.
What
We
was
have
that
to
word?
approve who you're gonna try and
Like,
Infer meeting, Clifton. It'll make you look smarter.
Like no one try to
Proselytizing.
convert anyone to their freaky religion until we clear with the group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we don't care about Alessia or whatever the hell her name is. And her weird douchey
Hey, y'all
husband.
don't even
kind
know
of
anything
thing.
about
Like,
that.
and we don't
Y'all
know
don't know
about
anything
any of
about
that.
That's true.
We don't know about any of that. But like
Listen,
we
know
like
about-
Serafina, and she's got like a future. She's doing her thing. She's killing it. Like,
She's
let her
killing.
live. Let her do her thing.
You don't
We've all
really
got
know
freaky
anything about her.
religions, No judgment.
Oh,
You
I
worship
like
the
it.
devil.
Why are you come to her defense?
Because TaLin gets like a good vibe with her. They click, and Serafina
And
like
I
plays with
also
Booker
get a good vibe with
and
her.
Lil G.
I just want to
Like if Booker likes her, like that's a good read on somebody, you
I want
know.
to vibe with her in hell.
So-
He's nothing
Okay,
if not
I'll
consistent.
just agree with my friends. Okay. But trust me, I meant no harm by it. I meant to empower her because she seems to be struggling with something much darker than demons.
Okay, but what?
She
but
does
what
seem
if,
to be
What if you
struggling.
like pitch the devil? Can you pitch the devil like openly?
Oh,
You know?
well, come see me after this. I will pitch to your heart's content.
The Book of Demons.
At this point, actually, Agnomeio rushing past you, putting his hand on your shoulder and just kind of running out onto the deck. Hello, everybody! Roland Stormwind is here, ready for fights, ready for battle. Where are
And
those
I'm
foes?
not.
Where are the enemies?
Knobolas is just
Late
going
to the
downstairs. He's over it.
Aha!
I'm just gonna walk up, pat him on the shoulder, punch him in the kidney, and go downstairs.
Oh, you got me! That was, haha, that's fantastic. He waves to TaLin Windrider. TaLin, hey, yeah, all right, I'll see you later. All right.
Yeah.
And he's gonna go back below deck. All right. So, all right, here's how we're gonna do this next little bit. There were a couple of things. I know it's a little after 11. We typically go till about 11:20.
Yeah.
So we have time for two more scenes that I was thinking of. The first one is supposed to happen tonight. Well, first off, tell me, does anybody want to do anything before nighttime? It's going to be a generally easy flight for the rest of the day as you guys make your way up the coast of Akari.
Is there beer?
Like
Yes.
what time of day-ish are we?
So you guys had just been having lunch when this whole thing happened. So it's midday.
Okay.
Like there is time to do stuff or study or just kind of like we don't necessarily need to RP, but if there's stuff you want to do, we could talk about it.
TaLin only got to chat with the alchemist and would like to go down, like, you know, while other people are doing stuff.
Sure.
She's gonna drop Booker off with Lil G so
Okay.
that they can hang and rest together. And TaLin wants to go chat with the botanist.
Sure. While dropping
That's where
off
she's
Booker,
headed.
you actually see Booker. He runs to the back deck and he kind of lifts his leg up off the back deck, and you see he just pees off the side of the boat. You know, you had
Okay,
asked
we
her.
figured it out. Cool.
Yes, very
still
important.
thinking
I
about
want to pay attention to the details. Okay, so you go down to the mid deck where you talk to Elowin Greenbloom, and she is a wood elf, is a druid, and she is tending all of the flowers at the moment. Your job basically was more just to chat with her, figure out what needs to be done, help care for the plants.
Yeah.
But if there's anything in particular you want to talk to her about, we can do that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of find out, like, like a roster or something of when she needs which plants taken care of, kind of thing, and how I can help with that.
Perfect.
And maybe borrow a book on the plant so that I can be as helpful as possible while
Excellent.
on the board.
She does take some time to talk to you a little bit about Alaric Fireforge, and she mentions, she provides plants for him to do his experiments with. She does kind of confide in you, although it's not a secret, that he's relatively new to alchemy. And so to be very careful that you give him exactly what he asked for, because if you don't, then he'll blame the failure of the potion making on you if it does fail. And that has gone poorly in the past. Okay. So then you spend some time reading in the library, and if you want to think about anything in particular that you want to read about, you can think about that while we go over to Knobolas. So we're going to go over to the living... well, actually, Knobolas, you are going to have a scene at about 9:30 at night. Does anybody else want to do anything prior to that?
I'm planning
I'm actually going to go back to I would like to go back to the control room with what's her name? Magenta?
Felicity? Magenta. Yeah, you could call her Magenta. Why not?
Yeah.
Yep. So Felicity Gear Spark, you are going to hang out with her. Okay.
Yep.
Just kind of spending time there, like anything in particular. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to kind of go in there and see like how she's doing, like, during the fight, and if there's anything she saw like while we were fighting, just to kind of take her, just to kind of like see what her general observations were while everything was going on, if there was any problems controlling the ship and anything like that.
Sure. So while you're in this room, you actually see that there is a shelf of stones, and excuse me, these are all labeled. Some of them being labeled after various cities around the continent, specifically Urngarzuik or Kazork. What was that?
Oh, sorry guys, hold on.
That's fine.
Battle music. Here we go.
I know, right? A roll initiative. You're fighting the stones. So the stones are labeled with various different cities, and she tells you that those are sending stones, and they're specifically tied to somebody who usually monitors them in those cities. So if there's a problem on the airship, you can kind of call Mayday to the closest city that you're at, and they'll come help out. All right. Oh, he's good. That's fine. Agnomeio, anything that you'd like to do before? Nope.
I am going to go downstairs, grab a ham hock, stick it in the bag of cold, plaster that to my face, grab a bottle of whatever fortified wine they have, and take a nap under the what do you call it? One of those tables, and nurse my bruises.
Sure.
I was going to say, I'm sorry, why are you sticking ham on your face? I was very confused.
Oh, because he got beat up.
It's like a cold pack.
I wouldn't think to just put a fucking ham hock in your face.
Oh,
you know what?
Yeah, you never took a steak as a cold pack? There you go.
Yeah, with the steak, yeah.
I'm sorry, I was poor. I did not sacrifice steaks for my health.
Yeah, I mean, usually it's like a cold bag of peas or corn. Yeah. Yep.
Yes, peas. Yes, the frozen peas.
Yeah.
Hagrid in Harry Potter does the frozen, does the steak on his face.
Yeah.
So.
I've only been punched one time in the face. The few other times I got in a fight, it was mostly like in the stomach or like the shoulder or something, but only one time in the face. Like apparently I've
actually never gotten in like a physical fight, and I've actually kind of wanted to. So hey, whoever wants to challenge me on Whiskey Tube, let's go.
Clifton, I'm game.
How drunk can we get before we? Yeah, but whoever challenges. Exactly. Whoever challenges has to tie an arm behind.
Yeah,
and you are left-handed, so you have to tie your right arm behind.
We'll do like Logan Paul boxing match kind of thing. Yeah.
No, not to say I didn't get injured as a kid. Trust me,
a lot of fights.
I had some situations where like I got a rock thrown to like the middle of my forehead and I bled profusely, and I also had some pretty gnarly knee injuries as a child, but never got punched.
Nancy Kerrigan style. Yeah.
I've been punched.
All right,
I've punched and been punched.
So
question on
yes
for TaLin.
Go for it.
This library, would it have books on either, especially like with the alchemist's interest or whatever, potential cure potions for say like kobold corruption?
Oh, I see.
Or elementals and like calling back the gods to maybe fight Helix.
Sure. Okay. Roll roll an investigation check for me.
Okay.
Let's see what you can find.
Oh. I don't know how to find it when I can't see my character.
Sorry. I'll drag you on there.
There we go. Okay. Sorry, investigation? Boop.
Yes.
Okay. Not 20.
Natural 20.
So
Excellent.
21.
Well, something to keep in
Is
mind.
that whiskey? Ed?
Yeah, I know, right? So something to keep in mind that a natural 20 doesn't necessarily mean success. What it does mean is that you are confident that there is no book here that dictates or that instructs you on how to cure whatever happened in Norzuek. But there is a book about elementals. What are you trying to... you kind of mixed a couple things there.
Yeah.
So what were you looking for?
So
for
I'm kind of curious. So if I've rolled out the Erngor Zuek guys, I'm kind of curious about because there was a god of each type of elemental before.
Yes.
Elements, I guess. And then, but also they have that thing that controls the planes and the different elements within the alchemy lab. So I'm wondering if there's any books on that I could maybe utilize with this whole fighting helix thing.
So what you're able to find, especially with the natural 20, so I'll give you a little bit of information and hopefully not just keep coughing. I'm finally going to go to the doctor and see what the hell's wrong with me. So hold on.
Typical dude.
Yeah, for sure. It's been 3 months. It's about time to go to the doctor. Let me keep drinking and eating like crap. All right. So what you find about the elementals, so you do find a copy of that same book that you found in Helixia, the one that has some poems about the... what were they called? Those giant elementals. I have their names, but...
That's what I was thinking of. Yes. Yeah.
So you find
I have it downloaded.
You find the exact same book. And so basically you see that this is something that's known. But what else you find is kind of an instruction manual of sorts for that contraption that's within the alchemist's lab. And what that is not only does it show you, let's call them a thin place of the plane that you're currently on, where you could potentially travel to other planes, but you realize, and let's even say that you kind of wander over to the alchemy area, you realize that this is set to track very specific elemental gates, and you wouldn't have seen anything from earlier. So you see that there are 4 little dots that are being displayed kind of around the map, and you're not sure what those are for, but you do know that this particular, I wish I could call it something, but this particular magical focus is set to track these 4 little dots, and you could see where they are in relation to the ship.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep. One of them, the blue one, is to the southwest of you at the moment. The orange one is to the east of you. The green one is... I'll have to double check back in my notes to see exactly where they are, but there's a green one and a... what's the other one? Like a light blue. I think I said it was brown, actually, before. But the 4 different things, they're basically spread out across the world.
Okay, so... with the manual and just previous knowledge, would I know that maybe the blue one correlates to the water?
So it doesn't say what it's tracking. Yeah, so this one more goes over the fact that it can track things and the fact that it does track. There's also other things that you can see, but these 4 little dots are the brightest.
Okay.
There's very clearly, it seems very clear that the orange one is over the disintegrated peaks.
Okay. Gotcha. Sweet. Okay, cool.
Cool. All right.
Good.
So,
we're good.
Cool. I'm going to mute myself for just one second.
That did not work.
Well, no, it only went to the stream view. It didn't go out to the audience, so it was okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yep. I've done that a couple of times.
No, we heard it.
No, it's totally fine.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So let's go back to 9:30 at night. We're gonna turn the lights down low here.
Cool. I just poured me some Russell single barrel pick for this, so I'm ready.
Excellent.
I'm ready for you.
Yes.
Ooh, that's a little too low. It's super, super dark.
TaLin is curled up with Booker and her book.
There we go.
Cute.
Oh,
I hope.
Is
found
Agnomeio
little
curled up with
Grizz.
little G?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was thinking that'd be cute. Me and little G just.
Yeah.
there we
I love
go.
it.
The moon is
Also, like,
go ahead.
what's your height compared to little G?
I don't know. How big is little G? He's got to be like 2 feet.
So a small bear, I would say
Please.
probably about 2 feet sounds about right. Yeah, 2 feet long. So you're about
Please.
twice his height. You're like 3'5", something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
3'6",
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. You know, you could probably
Yeah.
ride little Grizz if you really tried, but he wouldn't love it.
No. He's got to be a little bigger.
They're just cuddling.
So Knobolas, you end up kind of, well, actually, you tell me. I'm gonna close this door. You tell me what you want to do. You're supposed to meet Talia out on the balcony at about 9:30, and let's say it's 9:27, so it's a little early.
Can we remind viewers of like what led to this? Because I remember being told to meet her.
Yep. So you were in the mess hall. Talia is the chef's, the ship's cook. Jeez. For 4 drinks apparently is where I need to cut off. So it's like all coughing and just stumbling.
No.
All right. So Talia is the ship's cook. She was cooking and somehow you two kind of got along a little well. There was a little bit of flirting, very subtle. And at some point you ended up talking to her and she told you that she was going to be out on the balcony tonight at 9:30 and if you wanted to join her.
Okay, so no demon shit.
Not for this person. You know, only half the crew.
Not
So
yet.
Novelist loses track of all the people he flirts with, so
that's totally
thank
fine.
you for the recap.
You're welcome.
All right. Can I bring her a drink? Because I told you I was heading to the bar after to spend
Sure.
some time.
Yeah. Tell me what you're bringing.
She was pouring wine last time I saw her. I'd like to bring a glass of wine for me and a glass of wine for her.
Sure. Okay. You heading out to the deck?
Yep.
All right. So you head out to the deck, and she turns into a giant monster and kills you. No. All right. So
A snake.
you see
I
her.
wouldn't put it past the
So succubus, right? So she is
She
sitting
has
out.
bigger nips.
I'm not going there. All right. So Knobolas, you open up the door and you see the back of Talia's head. She is sitting in one of the chairs, just kind of staring out into the expanse. What would you like to do?
I like to approach from behind and kind of reach over a little bit and say it's a beautiful night for a glass of wine, isn't it? And hand her the glass.
All right. So you come up and she says, "Oh, you startled me," and but she takes the glass of wine from you and she motions towards the seat to her right, and she says, "Won't you join me?"
Absolutely. I like to just go into a very relaxing pose, just definitely shirt open because Knobolas, and just be like,
Of course. So she says, Knobolas, you definitely caught my eye, but I want to know a little bit more about you first. Before, anything, we should be friendly before anything further. And she takes a sip of her wine. She says, why don't you tell me something interesting about yourself? And I'll do the same.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I seem to carry myself in such a way that presents high class and wealth. Very few people know that I'm a self-made man. I come from nothing. And obviously, I've made something of myself. How about you? Tell me something about you.
She says, self-made man. So does that mean that you're wealthy?
I get by.
You get by. So that's a no. But that's okay. So that's okay. I come from pretty humble beginnings too. I'm from a small town on Evera called in the mountains of Vida Mons. Sorry, I want to make sure I say this right. Vita Mons, because whiskey. So, so anyway, so she says, I'm from a small town in the mountains of Vita Mons, and I learned to cook from my mother, and I just didn't want to stay in a small town forever. So I found the nearest skyship, and I flew around a little bit, did some odd jobs, learned to cook on a ship, and ended up here. And that's, there's more to me, but that's my general story. So where are you heading, Knobolas? Why are you traveling with this other group of people? Sounds like if you're a self-made man, why are you putting yourself in such danger?
Your story kind of inspires me to look back into my own past. I never knew my mother. She passed during childbirth, and I never knew her at all. And my father always resented me for what he considered taking her from him. So I've always sought out. I always wanted to know who she was and what she stood for. And that's kind of what brings me here. I've just felt a calling to head to the... Let's get the name of the place we're going. Volantis. And I feel like she's...
Voltanus.
I could just feel that I could feel her presence pulling me there, so I'm just following her guidance.
But you said that she passed, so that's very interesting that you're feeling her presence pulling you there. I wonder what awaits you there. So at this point, you guys are going to talk for a while, and you tell me how you want tonight to go.
I like the whole open. Like, Knobolas has not been open with hardly anyone in this journey, other than his core shipmates here.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to maybe go back and get another glass of wine for both of us and just see how the night goes. Just talk openly and maybe scoot our chairs a little closer. No one's out here, right?
Nope, nobody's out here at the moment.
I think Knobolas would like to make a move after 2.5 glasses of wine.
Okay.
It's appropriate.
She does say something at some point about being cold, which is funny because this whole balcony is warded from the air, so like it's not cold out here. It's pretty comfortable.
Listen, I know to pick up on cues when I can. So I fire blast. I'm just kidding. No, just kidding. No, I remove my very expensive jacket, put it around her shoulders.
Nice. She gets up and she says, "Well, thanks, Knobolas. It's been nice talking to you, and I think I'll keep this tonight, and I'll give it back to you in the morning, and I'll see you then for breakfast."
Okay. So now I'm just shirtless. Fine, whatever.
Apparently.
So much for picking up on cues. You could have just invited her inside.
But she does this all in a very nice, like she's playing a little hard to get. And she walks inside and she closes the door behind her. All right. So, I know Jason is gone, so we're gonna. I don't know if Jason's like, if you're there, you should come back because we've got one more roll for the night. All of you end up going to bed at some point or another, and you'll be able to take your long rests. However, before you do, I would like everybody to roll a d4 for me, please. And if Jason doesn't, Jason, if you're able to hear me, go ahead and roll it. All right, so I don't see it. I mean, he must have actually had to go. Okay. Did you end up sending some of this whiskey to Tony Bag of Donuts by any chance?
You're muted.
Yeah, you're muted. I'm just trying to make sense.
He actually was in Wisconsin. He picked up a bottle of the rye and a bottle of our single barrel bourbon.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
no way.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Tony. Okay. So, Knobolas, you rolled a 4. TaLin, you rolled a 3. Agnomeio, you rolled a 4. Excuse me. So...
On top,
I wish Alessio was here, but that's okay. So, Agnomeio... I don't want to because this matters.
Can I roll for him?
It's okay. If he ends up coming back, we'll kind of retcon a little bit, but that's okay. So for the first night of sleep, let's say TaLin, you have continued nightmares. Same kind of thing that you saw when you were unconscious, of this brain with like a giant eye in the middle of it, rather than what it actually looked like with the 4 legs and the brain and the giant tongue. It has all those, except it has a giant eye right in the center of its brain forehead. I don't know what you'd call it. Frontal lobe. Yeah. And but this thing is giant. It's a very large eye, and it's green, it's piercing, and it's all that you can think of when you wake up in the morning. It's just it's haunting your dreams, and you wake up feeling very tired. You're not technically exhausted, but you are role-playing wise very tired today. Knobolas, you end up having a dream about being trapped inside of a barrel, and very similar to the barrel that you slept in multiple nights during your childhood, except this time you were inside the barrel and people are nailing the top shut, and you feel yourself kind of suffocating as you dream. And you wake up and you try to catch your breath, and you realize it was a dream, and you realize that you're cold without your jacket. But you fall back asleep, and you have the exact same dream 2 more times. The whole night goes by and you feel quite tired. Agnomeio.
I blame Ed. Yep. He's the one that he's the one that it's nailing me in a barrel. He knows his whiskey, so.
No. So, Agnomeio, you end up having dreams of Tinbrand. And what you see Tinbrand actually with a whip at his side, a sword at his waist. And he's being tormented by air elementals and fire elementals. And you see Pharaoh kind of to one side just watching as these elementals beat Tinbrand mercilessly. And he's fighting back. He's brave, but ultimately he succumbs to the elementals, and you see him laying on the ground. At which point you wake up again, middle of the night. You realize it's a dream. You have, whatever emotions you have about it, and when you fall back asleep, you actually dream of the exact same thing again. This time more vivid, and this time you're next to Tinbrand and also not able to help him.
Oh, jeez.
We're all gonna be messed up tomorrow.
So, I'll just
a little G, a little bit more.
I'll read out. We'll just assume Alessio rolled fine. It's fine. Maybe I'll have him roll at the beginning of next game. But he's gonna also have a dream. He dreams of his sister Mia, and he dreams of that night that he ended up seeing his father kill his mother, and Mia was standing there in the doorway. And Alessio tries to run towards Mia to protect her from the whole scene, try to cover her eyes. But as he gets closer and closer, she drifts further and further away. At which point he sees his uncle come and take Mia away and lead her out of the house. And this is the same kind of thing. He sees the same dream again 2 or 3 more times. He's left with this feeling of not being able to save his sister as he wakes up. And everybody, all 4 of you, end up having these terrible dreams all through the night. As you wake up the next morning, you're all exhausted. You wake up only to the sound of people kind of yelling about food. And you realize that you've probably overslept. And that's where we're going to end for tonight.
Oh, boy.
All right. So, thank you, everybody, for joining us here. Ed, excellent job on the whiskey. I know we've been very complimentary, but it's every bit of it's been deserved. It's extremely good. I've been enjoying every drop of this. So.
I'm glad. Thank you.
It's not bad.
I'm happy you liked it.
Yeah.
Was this about a cast strength rye coming up soon?
Oh, well, so we had one a while back. We had a cast strength rye, and we're going to be releasing another as soon. I've got one barrel in mind specifically, and it's almost ready. It's almost there, but it needs a little more time. So we're going to be doing our official first Salty Dog cast strength rye pretty soon. So
I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
I'm going to pause for just 1 second because Alessio happened to come back right at the very end. Alessio, I'd like you to roll a D4 for me, please.
A D4?
Yes.
Okay, give me 1 second.
In case you want a depressing dream.
You had a depressing dream. This is actually for something else.
Oh,
I had a depressing dream.
Yeah, you can go back and
Yeah,
re-listen.
Okay, hold on one second. All right, so 1d4 you said?
Yes.
in the meantime, Ed, feel free
I
to
can't see my
not send
token
me
right
that
now
thing.
on the screen.
Oh, all right. Let's go to the top deck just to make life easy. All right, go for it.
Okay, there we go. Okay.
But I love everything you do, Ed. Just
Thank
don't say me the rest.
Ooh, a 1.
Of course, Alessio is the one to roll a 1. You know, if it wasn't actually randomized, people would assume I'm picking on you. All right. So, Alessio, as I mentioned a minute ago, and you can kind of go back and re-listen, but the short answer is you had a really bad string of nightmares about not being able to protect your sister Mia. However, when you wake up the next morning, you're feeling exhausted, and you notice as you're putting on your gear, the Chalice of Kings is missing from your inventory.
No!
Uh-oh.
And that's where we're going to end tonight's episode.
Oh, no.
shoot.
Okay.
Fuck.
So,
All right.
yeah.
I think it was Alessio, whatever the fuck.
Oh, God, I should have just stayed on the phone.
For real. It's funny. They were like, you should roll for Jason. I'm like, well, no, just in case I roll bad. So maybe I should have rolled for you.
Should have rolled for me.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody who showed up to the live stream, hung out in the chat. We appreciate you. I watch your chats the whole time. I just don't always respond to them. So thank you guys for showing up. I appreciate it. And check out the AI video I put out actually earlier today on generating a tiefling city. I thought it'd be kind of a fun topic to do because at least as far as I know in pop culture and fantasy in general, tieflings don't typically have cities. So I thought it would be a fun challenge. But aside from that, we'll be back next week and we'll see where the Chalice of Kings went.
Oh, boy.
Wasn't me.
For all that
wasn't
work,
Oh,
it's
shit.
gone.
Yeah, potentially. All right, everybody.
Cheers.
Well, cheers. Again, congrats, Ed. And I look forward to seeing you all next week.
Cheers.
Cheers.